The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here with Everything MSP. Welcome to another episode of The Stack. I'm here with John Tippett with Centricom. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to see you here. We've been friends for, I don't even know how long.
It's been a long time.
We've been in the channel, I would say, both longer than we care to admit.
Yeah, I think that's right.
You know, you have more hair than I do, though. So, that's kind of a, I'm a little disappointed about that. Maybe less.
No, it's a good look for you.
Yeah, it works for you. So, we're here live at PAX 8. Very excited to be here at the event. A lot of energy. A ton of MSPs.
I agree. There's not only a lot of MSPs, but they're here to learn. They're having great conversations. It's a great crowd.
Absolutely. And, of course, security is always the hot topic, right?
Yes, sir.
And I continue to say this, but I'm old enough to remember when we used to have themes at different events. One time it was a marketing theme, then eventually it became a security theme, and security never went away.
That's right. That's right.
So it
kind of moved in and never left.
Yeah, it is here to stay.
That's right.
And so one thing that I keep thinking about is post-pandemic.
Right.
During the pandemic, we lived in a world that we had never experienced before. We had people moving into their homes, working from anywhere, and we needed to be quick to provide them with solutions to be able to work from anywhere. And often those were VPN solutions, right?
Yes.
And of course, everybody loves VPN, right? Because you're connecting, and I don't want to call it like dial-up, right?
It's close,
but it's a different experience.
It is.
And post-pandemic, people are still working from anywhere, and that is not going to go away.
Right.
Even if some are moving back into the office, there's still that hybrid that's occurring.
That's right.
And so ultimately, at the end of the day, now that we are post-pandemic, there needs to be a better solution.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
What is that solution, and why?
Yeah, I think to your point, not only are people working everywhere, but the data also moved.
Sure.
So data's in the cloud, line of business applications have aggressively moved. And the culture has changed now that office hours are a thing of the past.
Right.
People work whenever they feel like working, not only from wherever, but whenever.
Right.
So now we're on mobile devices, grab a laptop, whatever you can do, and get access into the corporate information.
And it's accepted.
It is
part of our
it is almost
life.
Required now. There's no clocking out.
Right.
And so for MSPs, it's created this challenge about how do I control who's allowed to access the network, under what conditions, and where are they allowed to go. And unfortunately, we had to move fast. And to your point, the VPN became, how do I keep my current environment and make it work in a remote and hybrid environment? So VPNs came up, and connecting people together and deploying endpoint software to try to keep track of all the machines. And it just added complexity.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're excited about, is there's a shift to a new concept and a new category that's SASE as a category.
Okay.
And we entered the market with a SASE platform that we intentionally built not only for that problem, but for this market, where you can now completely virtualize and close a network, that no one can access corporate resources unless we know who they are.
Okay.
And on what conditions that machine that you're working on is allowed to come onto the network. Gotcha. And so it completely changes the game for MSPs. It puts everything back to where if you're an MSP, it looks like everyone's on-prem all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about that end user experience?
Yeah.
Because, at the end of the day, we can put all kinds of technologies in place, but we need to make sure that it's a proper experience for our end users so that they can be as productive and as efficient as possible.
And that's one of the big problems with MSPs having to manage the VPNs. Not only do you deal with split tunnel, full tunnel, all the complexities of getting it to function, but you put a burden on the end customer of having to turn it on, turn it off. But if you actually think about that, you have made security optional to the employee. Right. Do I want to be on the network or not? Is a classic example with something as basic as content filtering. Yep. If they're trying to go to a site or click on something that doesn't work, they actually turn the VPN off, do it anyway, and then join the network again. There's countless examples of this with ransomware attacks where they move laterally through a VPN.
Yeah.
And that was one of the keys when we developed Control One. The software application runs on the laptops, desktops, everywhere, whether they're mobile or not. and it's dynamically configured without user intervention whatsoever. If you're at headquarters, everything works like you're sitting in there normally. If you take the machine offsite, it functions like it's on-prem. You don't have to turn it on, turn it off. You print to your printers, you can access files, and you're still going through the same security. With our integration with Azure AD, you also can't turn it off. So not only is it not imposing to the end user, it feels and looks the same. I log into my laptop and I work. I don't have to change anything. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to know anything. Just work.
That's awesome. And that whole turn on and off thing. I mean, it'd be like, allowing someone driving to put their seatbelt on and off while they're driving, right? Removing that security when you don't want to.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they often mean well, and they get it wrong. They call support. My VPN's not working. Well, where are you? Well, I'm in the conference room. Yeah. It's like, you don't need your VPN. But then they go home and then they forget. And it's really not an ideal solution. And
absolutely.
It also creates a problem because everything moved to the cloud that employees know their credentials. So they can also go to machines that don't even have the VPN software and log in and access things from whatever laptop. And that's the other thing we changed with Control One. We can enforce the presence of the MSP stack. Is the RMM software installed and running? Is it on a certain version of the operating system? So we check the user, then check the device, and we put the control back to the MSP. So now this hard work you did to define your stack, we can enforce that and make sure that it's present or keep people off the network.
Because inevitably, work from anywhere, people will work from anywhere and use any device that they might have, which could be that device they have that's for the family that has anything on it,
that's
it's not secured, it's not locked down, and poses.
And all the hardware is commoditized. So if you leave a laptop at home, you went on vacation, you just run out to Best Buy, a few $100, get a new machine, log in, and
boom,
you're back to work.
You're back.
And the MSP may have no clue that even happened.
Yeah. So John, as we wrap things up here, can you give us a little background of how Citricom can help MSPs deliver a better solution as we're talking about for their clients and keep them secure?
Yeah, absolutely. Citricom, we've been in this channel since 2008, and we were founded by MSPs. All we do is develop solutions for MSPs. So when you look at how you interact with Control One, not only do you gain all these technologies and the security that we talked about, but it's built to be delivered as a managed service. You can sell it as your brand, integrate it with your managed services agreement. There's no minimums, there's no contracts. It's month to month. You can turn it up, turn it down, whatever you need to do. We're truly trying to help MSPs deliver more security at the same time adding more value to their managed services agreement. So very easy to get engaged. Happy to help out listeners of the podcast. If you guys are interested, just shoot us an email, thestack@citricom.com. If you listen to us on the podcast, we'll give you access to a free trial, and you can actually see it and use it and see how easy it is and how it changes the game for you.
Excellent. John, as always, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, this has been great.
It's great. So for all of our listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.